Excuse me, I believe I have an appointment this morning. Yeah.
You know, I just want to introduce you to the world. Let the fans and the people out here, the YouTube family and the internet world know who you are. And
I ain't got no fans or nothing, but it's your girl, Butta P. I do represent the local scene heavy out here in Palm Beach. And, I also represent X1023. We do this for the people. We do this for the music. We do this for what it is. This is what I live, eat, breathe. I was going to say something else, but I'm not going to say that because that's not too feminine, but this is everything that I do. You can cut me and music will come out. You can, whatever it is, and that's exactly what I am. So, you know what I'm saying? A little something like that.
A little something like that. So I know a lot of female guys that look up to you, Miss Butta P. So how you got started,
I'm actually real heavy on females. I think a lot of females have let what guys want to perceive us as become who they need to be. Right. And I think that's so not true. I think if women or the ladies or even more so the young woman accepted everything that we are as a woman, we create life, we're beautiful, we're intelligent, we have what every guy wants. Like, you really run shit, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, right. If I could get more females to see that, it would be where there's more unification and where we are, I feel, once more just valued, you know what I'm saying? Like, the value of the woman has become so degraded and low, and I think that's because each person let what they saw the next chick doing or something like that become who you are. No, be who you are and understand that you're worth everything, you know what I mean? So I think that's real important. But you did say how I got started in this. Yeah. So I busted my ass. Nobody could take nothing from me. I straight up put in work. I ain't get dirty. I ain't do nothing I heard other females do. Right. I didn't, none of that.
See, she have her own style. You see that?
You know what I'm saying? I demand shit. Carajo, mira, esto es lo que quiero. You know what I'm saying? But, I did work hard. I kept humble. To this day, I've been at the station for 4 years. Thank the good Lord. And it's like, because of the simple fact that I humbled myself, but I stay humble the whole time. Like, like people are like, I've seen people come and go like you wouldn't believe. Like water comes and goes in and out, you know what I'm saying? And it was like, I had to really take the time to, like, I had no problem sweating. I just came from Sunfest. I'm still sweating. Like, I have no problem sweating for it, baby. This is what I do. This is what I love. I have no problem working for it, and I've always shown that. And at the same token, I think that the way actions speak louder than words. So I didn't have to tell, the guys that could be my future bosses, like as an intern and stuff, I didn't have to tell them anything. I showed it, you know what I'm saying? Right. Like, I was like, yo, I want this, but I didn't just say it. Like, I was like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm coming for it. So it's like, I think people need to understand that too. Things do come with time. I think maybe it came to me faster than I thought. That's why, like, I think Brucey were like, well, you got, they were like, you got the maybe perception that I just popped up out of nowhere. Like, nah, I've been here for a minute. Right. Y'all bitches just catching up with me now.
Because she is on the radio all day long. So, putting in this work, for the last few years, you now hosting one of the most, important shows, at least to the county, local love. I mean,
I want you to bring it up there, yeah.
You dedicating a lot of time to that. You want to let the people know what you do and, what is local love and,
This is what local love is. It is a show for our local talent that may not get, all the airplay they need to get, or that are trying to further themselves. Whatever the case might be, it's a show for local artists that are in the area to go ahead and get their love shown. Now, in that sense, because people are like, this is local love, ain't it supposed to be? Let me understand something to you. The show would not be as important or as critical for certain people to get on if I would just play bullshit.
Right.
If I would just play anything. Why? Because you crying that you want me to play it? Listen, Papo, I'm about business. Or mommy, whoever, because there are some females too. But, it's like, I'm about what's best for the streets. What's best for how we want to be perceived as a county, as local artists. You will get, so that you wouldn't be like, yeah, I'm from Palm Beach and put your head down. Because I've had my DJs tell me that. My DJs, not like I own them, but, you know, my DJ homeboys, like, they tell me that. They were like, yo, you know, he gave me a CD, and when I asked him where he was from, he said Palm Beach and put his head down. Like, I don't want that.
Right.
I'm from Palm Beach, motherfucker. Check that shit out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what, you know,
a level of respect, you know?
Exactly.
Right.
You know, like, if you don't respect what you're an artist. An artist creates, right?
Right.
So if this is your artwork, if this is your baby, you're telling me like, yo, this is my art. This is a part of me. Then it's like, wouldn't you want that to be perceived as everyone else as hot or dope?
Yeah.
Like, do you want to just jump on a track and you think you're supposed to be Lil Wayne or Plies the next day? It don't work like that.
Right, they have
like,
to take baby steps, you know, it's a progression.
Yes.
You know.
And don't get so big. Let me tell you something.
Break it down to him. I know you got a lot on your mind. See, you deal with this 24/7, 7 days a week. You know, me and Bruce deal with it a few days out of the week.
Right, I deal with this.
Break it down to him a little bit. Break it down.
And let me tell you something.
Because see, they'll respect it more from you than me and Bruce.
I'm on the air, as you said, 7 days a week. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I can be in the middle of doing like a old school special or a dance hall mix, and people are still calling me about local love, which I have no problem with. I love it. I love the people. I really want, you know, to make this a unity thing, and I really want it to get even bigger.
Right.
I feel that when I took the time to, you know, like, I did my research. I went out there and I wanted to know what the actual streets thought was hot. I wanted to know who was buzzing on their own, who was really about business, who was on their grind, who was like, yo, this is what I do, this is what I live, what I eat, if I live, eat, breathe, and bleed this shit, like, why should I just give anybody the opportunity to get on air if you don't have that same passion for it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want to
just
do
wake
that.
up tomorrow and just, oh, I'm a rapper today, because everybody else doing it. You know?
And then you want to walk around like, yo, I'm Mr. Fulanito, you know what I'm saying?
And they don't even understand the business
and
side
then it's
of
like,
it, you know?
yo, like, if I go to another county and I tell them your name, they're not going to know who you are. So you really need to, you know, where I also want people to understand you have to humble yourself, but I think it's critically important to understand some of the dynamics of how I go about doing a show. I had to set the bar high because I wanted the best out of Palm Beach, because I wanted to represent Palm Beach the best way that we could sound. I want us to sound good. No one's going to give a shit about us if we sound like shit. You don't want me to say your name and try to blow up a record and the record sounds whack.
Right.
Then it's like, yeah, when they hear that name again, they're gonna be like, dude is whack or chick is whack.
Right.
And like, do you really want that too? As an artist, do you want that? You know, like, it kind of makes sense to me, but whereas too, I think sometimes maybe people get caught up in other things where they don't really realize what's right there before your eyes. And something that I would like, this is something I do a lot, which you can't tell because I'm talking like an animal, but is that, like, when I was an intern or when I first started, I didn't talk that much, and people didn't, you know, they thought I was quiet and all this other stuff. It wasn't that. It's that I took the time to check my scenery. I took the time to watch what people were doing, because then I knew who to fuck with.
Right.
Because I saw who was about making moves,
you knew what
and
to
who
do
was about
and
this.
not what, you know.
Exactly.
You know.
Whereas, like, that's something too I think people should take into consideration, where, like, yo, you know, instead of doing all that yapping, watch what's going around you. Watch who's really doing something, or watch what's really happening before you start making conclusions, or before you start thinking about things in a negative way, you know, and that has a lot to do with it. So you can't think, think negative will happen. You know, if you only feel negative, you only get negative in return.
Right.
So
I can agree with that. Well, you know, the biggest question that's going to come about is, you know, what can the artists do in Palm Beach County to change that? You know, like, what can we do to progress forward, or what we need to do to move forward?
I'm right here.
We right here, but, you know, we're trying to get right there.
Well, that's we're gonna, you know, I want to tap into that a little bit later, but I feel where Palm Beach is already getting a certain buzz, and I feel like Palm Beach, hear me on this, I feel like we're our own worst enemies. There's people in other counties and other places, man, I got people hitting me up from Texas, Zimbabwe. Like, there's people listening to us that's nowhere in the area, but they like what they hear. And, you know, that, and then it's not the same in the streets, where it's like our own artists are hating on each other, our own DJs are hating on each other, our own people. We're not acting as a people. We're acting as our own worst enemies. It's kind of like when you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see. Change that shit then.